What up? And welcome back to another episode of Gwiffy Knows Best, baby. That's right. That's right. Tonight's a big night. Tonight's a big night because on this episode, we are going to be talking all about Squeam. One of, if not the greatest horror franchises of all time. And we are going to be digging into that little comment later on in the show to see if it actually is the greatest of all time. But what it is a series that reinvigorated the slasher genre. It is also responsible for one of, if not the greatest Halloween costumes of all time with the Ghostface costume. Everybody was Ghostface once, twice, 48 times. You could just reuse it. Nobody cares. I remember when my sister jumped out of me from the closet and I cried like a little girl. It's amazing. It's scary. And I am very excited for tonight. We are going to be digging into each and every one of the Squeam movies, 1 through 5. We are also going to be talking about some fun facts from behind the scenes. And of course, we're going to be doing a little Q&A at the end. But before any of that, let me introduce who we got with us tonight. I cannot do this show without this guy because this is the only other guy that I know that likes Squeam, even as close as me, okay? He is a YouTube legend, a current YouTube superstar, the greatest pop collector of all time, the artist formerly known as Simfuckus, Justin. There he is.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hello, Justin.
Hold up.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I'll tell you when we get to that.
Are we going to get to your favorite scary movie? We're going to talk about Squeam. I asked you what your favorite of all time is. Are we going to talk about that? Okay, maybe it is Squeam. How do I know? Maybe it's Squeam.
Yeah, maybe.
Are you excited for this?
I'm excited.
You've been planning this for a while. So let's get right to business. Squeam, number 1, came out in 1996.
Yep.
The plot: 1 year after Sidney Prescott's mother was murdered, now Sidney and her friends are being stalked by a masked killer in Woodsboro, California.
Yep.
Anything else I need to say before we start this review?
Don't think so.
All right, so you kick off. What did you think about Squeam?
It's a great movie. Probably everyone's favorite movie. I love it. You'd probably love it. It's just a great movie. Great characters, great cast.
Yes.
Some great killing scenes in the movie. And I learn something new every time I watch it.
Yeah, me too. Mm-hmm.
Like, most recently, I learned, though not that I learned, but I noticed that when the principal is being killed, you see Ghostface in his eye. I never peeped that.
That I don't remember. Interesting. Look at that.
And also, Dewey said something to the sheriff, like, didn't you click or something?
Oh, the cigarettes.
Was he talking about cigarettes?
Yeah.
I thought he meant click being a sheriff.
No, I think it was cigarettes. Yeah, he was talking about the cigarettes. He was like, didn't you quit? And I forgot what his response was. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was being a sheriff. All right, never mind that.
I thought he was talking about
I was
cigarettes.
going to say, like, was that a deleted scene that didn't make it?
No, from what I remember, he was just talking about cigarettes.
Never mind then.
Yeah.
But, great movie.
Yeah. Is this your favorite scary movie? You could say it now, because you kind of said that in the beginning of your review.
No.
This is not your favorite scary movie of all time?
No.
Oh, I'm sure it's a lot of people's. So that's your review right there. What's your rating on that?
4.5?
Yeah, okay, good. That's exactly what I gave it, and I would just like everybody to know that this movie has a body count of 7. 7 bodies. I used to watch this movie on repeat. It was one of the movies I watched as a kid all the damn time. I probably could have recited the finale scene with Billy and Stu. Okay. One of the greatest finale in horror history. Speaking of the greatest in horror history, not only is it probably the greatest finale in horror history, but without a shadow of a doubt, Scream 96 has the greatest horror intro, the greatest opening scene in horror of all time. Name a better one. The only one that gives me the same kind of goosebumps is Halloween 2018. But it doesn't even compare to that. There's no way. I mean, just the whole concept of Scream with the guy calling you on the phone. And then, I'm trying to think about this movie when I'm doing this review from the perspective of somebody who hasn't seen it anymore, like hasn't seen it already, I've tried to watch these like it's my first time watching them. And some of them, I haven't seen them in a long time, so it was. And this brought some surprises for me when I was watching these movies. But just... it's got to be cool when you first watch this movie and you just hear that voice. Hello, Drew. And from little behind the scenes facts, I don't think they even saw who that was till like Scream 4. Because he was always in a separate part of the house. Nobody knew who he was. So the cast, it was just creepy because they didn't know who he was. Then you finally see the ghost face mask come out. And that is arguably like the greatest horror costume of all time. It's right neck and neck with Michael Myers. I mean, Jason is just intimidating due to his size. His mask is not that scary. Freddy is burned, not that scary. The razor fingers and the dream thing is like the scariest part, but just visually. So Ghostface got it all, man. It got the voice, it got the look. And this one wasn't as bloody as the other ones. Really, what was bloody about this was the first scene. So the opening scene is tremendous. The guy, what's her boyfriend's name? Steve gets gutted in the chair. Great part. And what really pissed me off, though, there's nothing really wrong with this movie to me, except for this. Drew, or what's her name in the movie? Casey. In the opening scene, stops running twice. Right? When she's by the window, she kind of just like stays there, and then she looks in the mirror, and you get that looks in the window, and you get that cool shot of her and Ghostface going face to face. Great scene, but get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
What is your problem? Then her parents are like in earshot, basically, and she stops. Right? Is that where she stops again? Like right by her parents? Like she's like looking at them, and she stops, and then Ghostface tackles her and just butchers her right in the side of the house.
She sees your car, yeah.
And I'm just like, what are we stopping for?
Right?
I'm glad that she didn't trip, because that would have been like, all right, like we've seen that a billion times.
Yeah.
So that's really the only thing that pissed me off about this movie. This movie did not piss me off that much. One thing I like you said, I noticed something. I noticed that in the opening scene that we're talking about right now, when Casey's talking on the phone and they're talking about Halloween, you hear one of the Halloween songs mixed in with the score of the movie.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I think it's the one that's like bam, 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 bam. I can't remember which one. I'm pretty sure it's that one, but you hear it while they're talking about Halloween. And I was like, I never picked up on that.
Interesting.
Another thing I love about the movie, since I'm a big Michael Myers fan, you see I got the Michael Myers pop with the freaking Myers house over here. I'm wearing a Halloween hoodie while I'm talking about this. Is the homages and the mentions of Halloween. You obviously see them watching it in the living room scene at the party. But one thing I didn't really pick up on, Justin, in a long time. I haven't seen Scream 1 in a long time, by the way. But one thing I really didn't remember was Ghostface stalking the girls in the movie in the background. That is something you never see again to my recollection. You never see Ghostface stalking the girls or any of the victims in the background, very Michael Myers-esque, ever again. You see him in the back in the bushes when Tatum and Sydney are talking at the porch, and you see him in the glass when they're at the supermarket. And I'm like, this is very Halloween, like very Halloween. Michael Myers, the shape. So I thought that was great.
I don't think you ever see that again.
No, you never see it again, and that's cool. I don't mind it. I find that the less Ghostface you see before he pops out of nowhere, the better.
Yeah.
I like that. You got the Billy Loomis thing. There's so many other Halloween homages you can go on with One thing I thought was funny watching this in 2022, Billy's cell phone drops out of his pocket when he's in Sydney's bedroom after the murders, and it's shocking that he has a cell phone. Sydney's like, oh my God, he has a cell phone. And then when they're taking him out, the sheriff's like, what you doing with a dang on cell phone, boy? And I'm just like, wow, I guess at this time, like, having a cell phone was a big deal. You know, it's like, by the time Scream 3 comes around, everybody got a cell phone.
Everybody had a cell phone.
Everybody got a cell phone. So, I just realized that I'm not recording the video for this. That is hilarious. Well, I'm recording the video now. There we go. All right. So we'll have to have that froze. We'll have to have that froze.
I asked you too.
You didn't ask me if I was recording the video?
No, I meant both, and I said it.
I didn't even hear you. So, we're recording the video now for those that are watching the video. They heard it. They don't need to see us the whole time. They're washing dishes and stuff. So, I thought that was hilarious that a cell phone was like a big deal in this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Sydney is the best leading lady in horror. I think she's the only one that's smart. She's diving under the bathroom sink. I thought that was great. Like that little slide she did under the bathroom sink. She's beating Ghostface ass. She's kicking him in the face. And this is something that continues on and she only gets better and stronger as time goes on. I think she's the best leading lady in horror, and it was apparent from this movie. She was a badass from day one. All the characters were great. Scream is the funniest horror movie series around. It has the best dialogue. It has the best writing, and that's something that's also comparable to Halloween 1, at least, is that the dialogue in this movie was like actually good dialogue, and that's something you see in Halloween 1 as well. Usually it's like, whatever shitty dialogue is in a horror movie, it's just shallow stuff. This one is actually funny, and they have good stuff to say. And obviously, the finale. You can't beat the finale. It's bloody, it's gory, it's crazy. The lines are great. You hit me with the phone, dick. You get the whole explanation as to why Billy Loomis is killing everybody with Stu. For those of you that don't know, it was Sydney's boyfriend and her friend, because some people listen to these episodes about us talking about stuff and they don't even know what we're talking about. They just listen. So maybe you don't know that the ending of this movie, it was Sydney's boyfriend, who, to me, from when I was a kid, I was always like, this dude's got to be the killer. Like this, he was just creepy from the beginning.
Yeah.
And when they stabbed him up in the room and you're like, oh, he's not the killer. It's like, well, who is it then? Who could it be? Yeah. And then you finally get the reveal that it was a staged attack by his friend Stu, and then it was revealed that Billy was the killer. Totally amazing swerve. You get the swerve, you get the dialogue about why he killed Sydney's mom a year ago and why he's doing it now, because they're inspired by the movies, and also because Sydney's mom was running around with Billy's dad, and that caused Billy's mom to run away. So it was a good explanation. It was a good reason. It wasn't just some guy killing for no freaking reason. And it was just creepy that it could be somebody you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't just some mystical, magical being out there. Great movie. 4.5. Amazing. Is it the best? We'll have to find out when we do our rankings and our Q&A. I believe that's all I have to say about Scream. So now, let's get to some behind the Squeam facts.
Let's talk about it.
Justin, I don't know if you know this. One of our favorite movies is Scary Movie, the parody of Scream.
Mm-hmm.
But were you aware? Did you know? Is this information in your brain that Scary Movie was actually the original title for Scream?
No,
You didn't know that, huh?
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that. Well, guess what? It was up until the rap party. They had this called Scary Movie. They had Scary Movie written on the wine bottles as souvenirs for the movie. And then at probably the last minute, Bob Weinstein was like, we're going to call it Squeam. And that was it. You like that?
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Coming
Look
with the
at
facts.
Bob over here.
Big Bob taking care of business.
Big
You're gonna hear a lot about Bob Weinstein, who's a producer for obviously the Weinsteins, Miramax, all that crap. I think it's what is this? Dimension. That's what it was. Dimension.
Yeah.
Justin, how do you think they came up with the Ghostface mask? Do you think they drew it up? Do you think what is your? Do you have a theory? Do you know how they came up with that?
I could have sworn I heard that they stole it from somewhere. They took the concept.
You're very close.
Okay.
They were drawing up a bunch of masks. They couldn't really find the perfect one. You can see in some of the documentaries, the sketches, they were very grotesque monster masks, which would have been absolutely shitty.
Yeah.
Like imagine it's a Frankenstein mask whole time. It would have totally killed the series.
Right?
It would have been awful.
Like a werewolf mask.
But the stars aligned. The Lord. There was some divine intervention came along. They couldn't figure out how they were going to do this, like what kind of mask they were going to be using. But they were on a location scout. Don't know if they ended up using that location specifically, but they were in a house. And upstairs in the room was the Ghostface mask right there. And they were like, what is this? This is fucking lit. Like, we got to use this. So they ended up using it in the movie, or they ended up filming with it, I should say. But they didn't know if they had the license for it because they didn't really know who made it, right?
Yeah.
So they're just deciding what to do. And then eventually Wes Craven is just like, use it and we'll see what happens. He makes the decision. He's like, fuck it. We'll just deal with the consequences as it comes. We'll see what happens. So they ran into a little, eventually they found out that it was made by it was made by Fun World. I was about to say K&B, but that'll come into play in a second. It was made by Fun World. So they call him up and the guy goes, yeah, just give us a credit in the movie and send us $100. That's all they had to pay. And they got to use it in the movie. I'm sure by now there's a more lucrative deal for Fun World. I would hope so. Hope the guy's not getting fucked. But when they originally were going to use the mask, they knew they were going to use it. They were like, oh, maybe we can have K&B make a different version of it. I guess maybe so they didn't have to give Fun World the credit, or maybe this was when they didn't know who made it. I think they were trying to make another variation to make it slightly different. I forgot why they were making a slightly different mask. So they had K&B make a mask, which is from the Halloween series. They made, I think it was Halloween 5 and Halloween 4. They recreated the masks. Obviously, 5 did not do well. That was horrific. But a little fun fact for you. You talked about the principal. In the principal scene, when he's getting killed, that is the only time you can see the K&B mask. And if you look at some of the documentaries, you can see that the noses are a little different. Some of them are a little more triangular. Some of them are a little more this. Some a little more that. But you can see the K&B mask in that scene. So that's pretty cool. They just found it out of nowhere. And they only had to spend $100. There was a little issue with the masks, though. When they were filming it, Bob Weinstein got the dailies, which I'm assuming is just the daily shots of the movie, unedited, raw. And he was like, I'm not really feeling this mask that you got going on, the Ghostface mask. Which is like, huh? The hell are you talking about? So he's like, listen, Wes, you're going to have to pull out all the masks that you guys had and send us dailies with them. So they had to redo the Casey scene like 1,000,000 times with different masks. And Wes Craven's pulling his hair out. He's trying to figure out, what to do. They have to redo the stuff. And they're finally like, listen, let us send you a edited version of the opening scene with the mask that we want. If you don't like it, you can fire everybody. You can take us off the movie. Let's see what happens. So they ended up working day and night to make an edited version. They sent him the version. Bob Weinstein calls and he goes, what the fuck do I know? It looks great. Hangs up the phone. All that work for nothing.
Damn. Come on, Bob.
Big Bob putting a wrench in stuff.
Yeah.
Did you know that a white robe was in talks for Ghostface instead of a black robe? And they nixed it because they said it's going to look too much like the Klan. So, so they were like, I think we're going to nix that. My man would have been looking like the KKK.
Right.
There was about 8 to 9 edits of the movie to get an actual R rating. They were giving it like an X because the Casey scene, guy getting, Steve getting gutted, Casey getting smashed, and they had to redo that. They had to do a couple things with that. They had to do a couple things with the finale because the finale was a little too brutal. They had to cut away.
Brutal?
Yeah, they had to cut away from them stabbing each other. They said it was a lot more brutal. The Casey scene when she's going up to the tree was a lot slower. I actually prefer the sped up version. I think it's just a cool vibe. But took them about 8 to 9 edits to get that R rating. Also, the MPAA did not like one of the lines. I think it was Psycho's. What was that line that Billy says? Movies don't create psychos. It makes psychos more creative. MPAA had a bug up their ass. They didn't like that. But Big Bob came in. Again, Big Bob just all over, got his hands all over this.
All right, Big Bob.
And he called Wes Craven. He's like, listen, I got you the R rating. And Wes is like, how? He said, I just told him it was satire. The whole thing was satire. So got them the R rating. Drew Barrymore actually chose to be Casey. She was in talks for Sydney. And they were like, no, let's get her as, she was like, no, I want to be Casey, the opening lady. And this was like one of the first times, I guess, or the only time that like a leading lady like that, like of her stature was killed off early in the movie. And they were worried about that because she's on the poster, if you notice. And I remember as a kid, I thought about that. I was like, why is she on the poster? She's getting killed first.
I know people are pissed about that, right? That she was all over the promotional.
I don't know if they were pissed. I think they thought she was going to be pissed. I think they thought they were going to be pissed.
They thought she was going to be bigger than what she was.
Exactly. Because she was already a big star at that point.
Yeah.
But apparently it was her decision to be the leading lady, and we got the Sydney we got, Nev Campbell, who is amazing, and I couldn't picture it any other way. Drew Barrymore is great, but Nev Campbell is Sydney.
She is.
Little fun fact for you, Justin. This one's just for you.
Just
I know you love Brittany Murphy from 8 Mile, your favorite horror movie, 8 Mile.
Yeah.
She was in talks for Sydney. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
But obviously, that did not come to fruition.
I don't think I could picture her as Sydney.
Me neither. But you never know. There was a lot of things moving around. I think Dewey was supposed to be Billy at one point, and they were like, nah. I think he was like, no, I'd rather be Dewey. So, little fun fact before we're about to wrap this up. Did you know that Squeam actually came out on Christmas weekend? Another thing that they were nervous about. Actually came out on Christmas weekend. They were worried because I guess they didn't think, people would go see that. But I think that was another call by Bob Weinstein, actually. Big Bob all over this.
Big Bob.
And they were worried. The people were coming out, the papers or whatever, like, oh, Scream, it's going to suck. It's going to be whack. It wasn't set to do well. Ended up blowing past expectations, making like $30 million opening weekend. And it did phenomenal. It did amazing. Last fun fact. Kevin Williamson, the guy who wrote Scream, actually wrote it in like a week. It was written out of necessity because he wasn't doing well financially at the time. And he wrote it very quickly because he felt like this was a movie that was going to be done eventually. And he wanted to be, he wanted to shit or get off the pot. He made it. And obviously he became the big time superstar writer that he is now, Vampire Diaries and all that. But don't know if you know this. This usually doesn't happen. But it was set to be a trilogy from the beginning. It wasn't something they just kind of thought of because of the success of the movie. I mean, I'm sure it was put into production because of the success in the movie, but Kevin Williamson had it in his mind that he wanted a trilogy while they were shooting Squeam. So that's that.
That's it?
That's that. I
There's
think
no
that's
more?
that's all. That's all the fun facts for Squeam.
You're
One.
not going to hit me with a, but wait, there's more.
Maybe in Scream. Maybe in Scream 2. I will. I might have that. There's more. Well, there is more. There's tons more. Now you guys are seeing the video on the YouTube, on the YouTube version. So there's more of us, our beautiful faces. Let's talk about Squeam 2.
Scream 2.
About 1 year after the Woodsboro murders, Sydney and the rest of the survivors are now in college, except for Dewey. He's not in college. He's a grown man. They're in college now, but another masked killer or killers is trying to kill off Sydney and the gang. Scream 2 It was a great sequel, in my opinion. All right. One thing I noticed right off the bat watching it again was how there was like 0 black people in Scream. Like none. All of a sudden, Scream 2, obviously the opening scene is a black couple and all over, there's black people all over the movie. And I thought that was a good thing because they didn't do it like, they didn't just have like, oh, we need a black guy in this movie. Let's have like a random black guy in the movie. Like, oh, we didn't have any black people in Scream. Let's just make this diverse and have one black guy. I think it was good that they actually had actual diversity in this movie. They made good characters. They had Holly was Sydney's best friend. So I think that they noticed that there was like 0 diversity in Scream. Maybe there's no black people in Woodsboro. Because when you do go back to Woodsboro in the movies, there's, again, like no black people except for Anthony Anderson in Scream 4. Did you notice that? Like, there's no black people in any of these movies.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. Same thing with Halloween. So there's another parallel with them. So I just thought that was kind of cool that they brought some more diversity to the movie, but it wasn't done cliche. It wasn't just like, oh, here's one black guy or here's one black girl that gets killed off. The opening in this movie, great. Not as good as Scream 1. But great. Obviously, my favorite part of this is when the guy's in the stall. He's not in the stall. He's at the urinal. He puts his ear to the stall. And next thing you know, the knife comes right through the stall, right in his ear, blood coming out of the mouth. That probably would be my favorite kill in the series, but it's not because my favorite kill comes later, which we will talk about. So I love that. Opening scene was great. Jada Pinkett gets killed. They're at the movie theater. For those that didn't see it, Jada Pinkett and her boyfriend are at the movie theater. They're going to go see Stab, which is now a movie series that is made off Sidney Prescott's, off the killings that happened in Woodsboro. So they're there. Her boyfriend goes to the bathroom, gets killed by a guy in a Ghostface mask, which you would think, there's a Ghostface running around the theater. There's about 1 million. Because everybody's dressed up as Ghostface. Because everybody's excited to see Stab. And honestly, I would love to be in that theater because that movie the atmosphere was great. They're throwing popcorn around, they're screaming. So if you get killed there, nobody would have noticed because it was rowdy. It was crazy. So the boyfriend comes back, or who you think is the boyfriend, but it's actually Ghostface in the guy's clothes after he stabbed him up, stabs Jada Pinkett. She goes on top of the movie screen. They're like, get the fuck out of here. She's like, ah. And then Scream 2 starts off.
Yeah.
And they're in college, and now the kids are getting killed off around Sydney. The girl at the sorority house gets killed. It's a great time. Another thing I noticed, other than the all of a sudden there's a bunch of black people, is all of a sudden there's a bunch of people with short hair. Did you notice that everybody in this, all the girls in this movie had their hair cut short? Sydney, Gail, Holly, Billy's mom, Jada Pinkett. I was like, does everybody have short hair in this movie?
Was that like a thing in 99?
I guess so. I guess it was just a little something I noticed that I thought was interesting. Something else I thought was interesting. Dewey was a little bit ahead of his time in this movie. I don't know if you peeped this. He kind of, he had a passing line to Sydney that I was like, oh, is Dewey in the future? Speaking of diversity, they were real diverse with this line. Dewey was talking to Sydney about the killings, and he was like, yeah, you probably know him, her, or them. And I was like, oh shit. Dewey's shouting out the non-binaries right now. Look at Dewey getting with the times.
I didn't even pick up on that.
It could be a he, a her, or a they, them. Non-binary Ghostface.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I'm not stupid enough to think that Dewey was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Obviously, he meant 2 killers, but I thought that was funny. Just in today's climate.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed about this movie is, if my notes are correct, there was only 2 kills in this movie, 2 phone calls in this whole movie, and the first phone call doesn't come till 30 minutes into the movie. Did you pick up on that?
Yeah, I think it was the big long one, like Randy.
Right. Yeah, that was cool when they're looking for Ghostface.
Yeah, and then there's who's the second one?
I'm trying to think of the second one. Actually, I couldn't think
Yeah,
of
I
it
know.
when I was preparing for this. I couldn't think of who the second
I
call was.
couldn't.
It
I
was
can't
it?
think of it. I
Oh
just remember
man,
that the Randy scene.
right. So that's something I thought was interesting because you're so used to thinking about Scream with the phone calls, and I was like, kind of interesting that this movie only had two. This movie was obviously more violent. You would think they would. Oh, you know who the other call was with? The sorority girl.
Okay.
With
Yeah. Before she gets tossed off the balcony.
what's her face? Sarah Michelle Gellar. Yeah, Buffy.
Sarah?
Yeah, Buffy. Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. That it's not really a nitpick or a critique. It's just something I thought was fascinating.
Yeah.
Great dialogue as usual. I think this was better dialogue than the first movie, especially with Joel, the cameraman. He had probably the best lines of the whole movie.
Oh yeah.
I love seeing the maturation of Dewey and Gail's relationship. You know that I'm all about the rom-com. I'm all about the romance. And I was like, you get a little bit of Dewey and Gail in the first one where they fall on top of each other. But this one, they start making out in the classroom, and then Ghostface cock blocks it. And then it was at the end of this one that you finally see Gail kind of crack that facade, and she's worried about Dewey at the end, right? When she finds out he's alive again. I watching this with fresh eyes, I would have assumed Dewey would have died, but they hit us with the scar tissue deal where Dewey gets stabbed up again, and he's like, "Oh no, it was scar tissue." I thought that was interesting that they faked us out again on the Dewey death. I thought it was a good movie. The finale was really good. I'm nowhere near the original finale, but I thought the revealing of that it was Billy's mom and Mickey. I thought Mickey did a great job of acting like a complete psychopath. He wanted to get caught. Their whole scene at the end where they're on the stage and they're giving their dialogue, I thought it was great. I thought that Billy's mom was a good addition to the movie. Cotton Weary was cool because you really probably thought he was the killer. He was really looking for, he was like, a fame whore, and he was like, trying to grab Sydney up, and the security had to grab him up. So you thought it was Cotton, but then he ends up saving the day at the end. He shot Billy Loomis's mom because Sydney said that she would do that, what Dr. Phil or Oprah with him or something. She was like, I'll do Oprah. And he was like, okay, boom. And he shoots Billy's mom in the face or in the shoulder, I think. So I thought that was great. The car scene was probably my favorite part of the movie, where they're in the car, then Ghostface jumps on the hood, and they crash the car, then they have to jump over Ghostface they have to jump over Ghostface's not dead body, but he's knocked out. And that was just a totally tense scene. You're like, what the hell is going to happen right now? Holly ends up biting the dust.
Yeah, she runs back, right?
Yeah. I think the only part of the movie I thought it dragged a little bit when they're doing the scene, when they're doing that play, and she's running around and there's flashing lights and they're practicing. I was like, they could have kind of dropped this, sped it up a little bit, but I give it a 4 out of 5. Still a very, very solid sequel, a great movie. I did like Sydney's boyfriend. I was kind of tight that he got shot in the face at the end. I thought he was cool. I like when he got slid up for giving her the sorority letters. Great story. 4 out of 5 again. What do you think?
I can't say the same.
Wow.
I thought it was a good movie, but going back and watching it, I was like, I'm not into this. I mean, the pacing, it was a little slow. They could have cut a couple of things out. They could have made it a little shorter. I didn't like the play scene.
Yep.
I liked the Cotton Weary stuff. How he was out of jail, and they put him into the plot, and everybody thought it was him. I didn't really like the college aspect of it. I wasn't a fan of that, and I wasn't a fan of the ending. The mother being the killer. her motivation. It was my son.
Wow.
I didn't really care for it.
You didn't dig that?
Nah. And
Dang.
the other Ghostface, Mikey.
Mickey.
I don't know. I didn't care for
I thought
him.
it was cool.
Yeah.
I thought his exposition at the end was cool.
I mean, it wasn't a bad movie. It's just going back, rewatching it compared to all these newer movies. It's not my favorite. So I'll give it a 2.5.
Whoa. My man said a 2.5.
Yeah.
Damn. I agree with you that it dragged a little bit. One thing I do want to say, a little unpopular opinion. I could care less that Randy died. I was not a big fan of Randy.
Ah, come on.
I liked that he got killed. I thought it was funny. I thought it was cool. I liked that it was a very bloody scene at the end of his death.
Like that.
I am not a big Randy fan like everybody else. What can I say? But I was a fan of this movie. Like you, I thought it did drag a little bit though. Thought it had a little bit of like, we could speed this up.
Yeah.
So
listen, if I watched it a couple years ago, I probably thought it was better. But rewatching it, like I said, compared to the others, it wasn't that good. It's 2.5.
2.5. Zam.
Yeah.
Zam. Zaddy.
I'm surprised you love this so much.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, you know what else is interesting?
Some more facts?
Some more fun facts. Here's some
Yeah.
more fun facts about Scream 2. Oh, not a boo.
Let's talk about it.
I meant to put that.
Let's talk about it.
Oh, no boo. No boo. Yay. Yay. All right. So, fact number 1. When they were making Scream 2, the script leaked, which put a big wrench in everybody's plan. Because now they're like, well, we can't rock with this movie. We got to rewrite this motherfucking thing. So the script leaked. People got pissed. And after that, the studio was very, very, very secretive about a lot of about with the script. They would send people the script with this paper that they said they were using in tobacco companies, and it was like some weird paper that you had to hold up to like the light. They were sending people scripts with stuff that was blacked out. I don't think Miss Loomis and Mickey knew they were the killer till the day of. So they were saying that was exciting because they didn't know that, like, nobody knew who the killer was till the scene came up. There were many rewrites of the movie. There were a lot of on-the-spot decisions, which is not a good thing at all. Like, if you remember our Halloween, All About Halloween podcast, I talked about that was probably the worst part. That was probably why Halloween 5 was a weak movie, was because they did a lot of on-the-spot, on-the-fly decisions. I don't think it affected the movie that much. I think, actually, if you want to be real, here's the deal. I think it ended up making it a better movie. Because in the original script, the original killers were Miss Loomis, Derek, the boyfriend, and Holly. And then there was going to be another person that they were going to lead into Scream 3 with. And I think that the stars aligned again for Scream, just like with The Mask, and that script leaked because that would have been a... Boo! Holly? The fuck is she gonna say? Well, okay, to be fair, it could have been the same thing where it was like Miss Loomis got these people to do it. Same thing with Mickey. So I'm not gonna shit on it that much. I just like Holly, and I would have been tight if she was the killer. I think it would have been lame. I thought Mickey did a great job. I'm trying to picture Holly as the killer at the end with the gun. It just don't sit right with me. Holly was great, and I'm glad that she just went out and died. So that was the original killer. And like I said, they were going to have somebody else lead into Scream 3, and that was the original plan. But things got disrupted. There was a more violent version of this movie, a way more violent version of this movie, because Wes Craven and the gang learned their lesson, and they were like, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make a way more violent version of this movie. so that when they give us all the issues with the movie, it's going to be the movie we actually want. So I thought that was always cool when I heard about that they actually ramped it up to something they really didn't want, so that when they got to scale it back, that was actually the movie they wanted. That was very smart. Very smart.
Yeah.
Speaking of on-the-spot decisions, Joel's exit of the movie was an on-the-spot decision. The cameraman, the arguably the best character in the movie.
Best character, yeah.
And I was watching one of the documentaries, and he was talking about how they went to him and they were like, what should we do with you? And he was like, well, if you ask me what I would do, I would leave. I find a dead guy in my van, I'm gonna leave. And they're like, really? He's like, bro, I'm a black dude. Like, we don't do adventurous things. We don't go to the wilderness. And as a Puerto Rican guy, I'm agreeing with this, because that's I'm about that too. That's usually like a cliche with white people in horror movies. Like, y'all gonna run into that's my other half. I'm more Puerto Rican. I'm going the other way.
Yeah.
So he's like, we're not gonna be doing that shit. I would leave. And they're like, well, how would you leave? He was like, with a cab. And they're like, okay, we'll get you a cab. And I don't even know if they have that part of the movie where he leaves in the cab. I think he just gives her the tapes, right? And he's just like, I'm out.
Yeah.
See ya. Last fun fact. I don't know if you noticed Linda Blair in this movie as the reporter from The Exorcist. Remember her? Remember Linda Blair?
I did not notice her in the movie.
She was like, oh, Sydney, blah, 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 blah. She walked up and she was trying to.
I didn't notice that was her.
That's right. That's right. Also, if you didn't notice that, you did not notice this, because I didn't notice this till I looked this up. Matthew Lillard, a.k.a. Stu, is in this movie as well. Did you know that?
Stu
Macher.
Was he in the movie?
He was in the movie, not as Stu. He was just himself, or he was a college kid in the back of the party. He's way in the back as an extra. And some people noticed him. And he was like, you have too much time on your hands, if you notice that. Because I never knew that.
No.
I would have never seen that man.
But now I'm going to look for it.
You won't find it.
No?
No, you won't find it. Those are all the facts for Scream 2. Think about that.
Good
facts. Good facts.
Good facts.
All right, so now let's move on to Squeam 3. So, this takes place approximately 3 years after the second round of killings. Now we are in Hollywood because they are filming another movie in the Stab franchise. But on the set of the movie, Ghostface is trying to kill off the actors in the movie, as well as Dewey, Gail, and Sydney, who joins the cast later on because she is in seclusion. But then she eventually comes in the mix later on. Justin, what did you think about this movie? This is not, I'm just going to put this is like the least favorite out of everybody. For those that don't know, like, this is not a beloved movie at all.
No?
This is probably everybody's like least favorite. Word on the street, like, a lot of people put this as their least favorite. What'd you think?
I'm going to tell you right now, it's definitely not my favorite.
Yep.
But I did like this movie. I enjoyed it more than 2.
Wow.
I just finished watching it, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Your second round?
What happened?
Your second round?
Your second round?
Because we started watching these movies like 2 weeks ago. So you watched it twice?
Yeah.
In preparation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, I enjoyed this movie. I like the movie set aspect of it. I like that he's killing off the Sydney and Gail's, the actors
the actors
played them.
that are playing. For those, let's explain that real quick. So, again, the Stab movies are movies based off of Sidney Prescott, Gail, Dewey's experiences. So they're filming a third one, and now they have actors playing them, and they are getting killed off as they're killing the actors off who are playing Gail, Dewey, Sidney, all those guys.
Yeah, I like some of the killers in this movie. I like the security guard. He got
Yep, my favorite
stabbed in
kill.
the trailer.
Yep.
I like the fucking. Then that's her face. He's in the dressing room, is it? And Ghostface.
Oh, Candy?
Yeah, Candy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Hello, Candy.
And I like, I don't think a lot of people like this, but I do like the reveal that it was her brother. And I like that whole story that this guy fucked the mother and had him, and the mother didn't.
This guy, it was more of a gangbang. They don't know who the father is, I don't think.
I thought he was the father.
No, I think it was a gangbang. That's the way it was portrayed, that a bunch of guys raped her.
I could have swore it was
The movie producer?
the big
No,
boss.
I don't. I mean, he could have been part of it, but from my understanding, it was like a gang of guys.
No,
Yeah.
I did like
You like that aspect of it,
that aspect, that reveal.
right?
So I thought it was a good movie. The rating, I would have to give it a 3. I give it a 3.
Oh, a solid 3. Wow.
Solid 3.
Okay. All right. Real quick. Hold on.
What is it pulling out?
Forgot to mention that Scream 2 had a body count of 10. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay.
All right. So back to Scream 3.
Yeah.
So you give it a 3.
I give it a 3.
Yeah. It's not bad. Not bad. You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Let me tell you this right now, player. Initially, I used to watch this movie as a kid a lot. I used to watch all the Screams a lot.
It was always on TV.
No, not even. I remember I had a portable DVD player, and I used to bring it around. I used to watch this. I used to watch it when my sister was in the hospital for like a week. I used to watch it there. I used to bring it to trips. So I have a good memory of this movie, but I remember me not liking it as well as everybody else. I remember me agreeing with the rest of society and being like, this is the worst Scream movie. And I remember I said it like in one of my vlogs, I think. I said it on the show, like, oh, Scream 3 sucks. It was the brother that's so dumb, blah, blah, blah. Like, but I like Scream 1, I haven't seen this movie in years. So I'm going into this really tired, and just being like, oh, God, like, I'm going to watch Scream 3 now. This is going to be whack. I'm expecting to hate it. So the movie kicks off, and the first scene is Cotton Weary, who we talked about was in the second one, who was accused of killing and raping Sidney Prescott's mother. We really didn't get into Cotton's too much of his backstory, but he was accused of raping and killing Sidney Prescott's mom, and it was actually Gail Weathers, the TV reporter, who kind of got him off on that. Not got him off, but she was saying, like, it wasn't him. Right? That was a big conflict in, like, the first two movies.
That was her whole motive in the first movie.
Right.
Was to try to prove his innocence.
So now Cotton Weary's been out of jail. He's, like we said, he was in the second one. He helped kill Miss Loomis. Now he's in this one, and he's very well off. He has a show, 100% Cotton. He's in Hollywood doing his thing as a talk show host. And he's in the car, and he gets a call from a young lady who he believes is a fan who's probably trying to bang him. And then it turns out to be Ghostface. And I remember liking this a lot. This was like, I never forgot this. And rewatching it, it was better than I remembered. Him, he has to jump out of traffic. He has to swerve out of traffic and go get his, Ghostface takes off the voice changer, which I'll get to in a second. And he's like, I'm looking at your wife right now. She's in the shower. And God's like, you better fucking leave her alone. I thought that was cool. Then one of my favorite parts of that scene is, so then Ghostface uses the voice changer to put on Cotton's voice with the wife. And he's behind the door. He's like, honey, let me in, honey. She's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You sick bastard. So now she thinks that her husband is doing it. She thinks that it's Cotton. Cotton comes in. He barges through the door, and she hits him with a freaking golf club. Ghostface comes out, butchers the wife, butchers Cotton. Immediately, I thought that was dope because A, it was just a cool scene. And B, this was when they introduced the voice changer that he can put other people's voices in, not he or
Not
she.
a lot of people like that.
I didn't even hear about people's thought on that. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I watched some videos on YouTube, and not a lot of people like that.
Loved it. Are you fucking crazy? I love that. That was so cool.
I like that, yeah.
Because then in the beginning, in other parts of the movie, he called as Dewey, right? He called the security guard as Dewey, and he was like, "Hey, I need you to do this."
Dewey.
And the security guard's like, "That's not my job, dude. Drop. I don't know what you're talking about."
He called Candy
As Rowan,
as Roman.
as the producer. Was it Roman or Rowan?
Is it Roman or Roman?
Because
I think they said both names in the
I
movie.
think his name's Rowan.
They said Roman.
I think his name's
and
Roman.
then I think it's
I don't know.
Roman.
We'll call him the director. Call him the director. I love that aspect of the movie. They never did it again. I thought it was a cool addition, and this is what I love about Squeam is that they keep the movies consistently, like basically the same. You got Sydney, you got this guy, Dewey, Gale, you got the same mask, you got basically the same story, but they always add a little bit of something else. They always add a
keep
fresh
trying
element
stuff.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that, right? So now I'm watching the movie. I'm like, it's about to go down. It's about to get whack as fuck. It's about halfway through the movie when Candy gets killed, and I'm like, oh, I'm liking this movie. I'm liking this a lot. Like you, I love the aspect of it being on a set. I've read a R.L. Stein book like that where the kids were getting killed off on a movie set. One of my other favorites is the Freddy Krueger movie, A New Nightmare. That was also on a set. So I've always been a big fan of movies or just movies, books where people are getting killed off on a movie set or there's issues on a movie set. Always like that. I've always gravitated towards that. So I like that aspect of it as well. The fact that they had characters playing the characters. You had, Dewey's character. You had Gale's character. Gale and the person that was playing her in the Stab movie, best. That was one of my favorite parts of the movie. Their back and forth. Their interactions were hilarious. When she's walking down the thing, they're walking down to go get the archive of Maureen Prescott, and the actress is like, "Oh my God, I hate tunnels or something," and Gail's like, "Wow, you'd make a great interview," like basically saying like you're fucking boring.
When they barge into the dude's office, and she's just saying shit, and Gail's like, "Easy,
Yeah, just relax.
relax."
So that was great. I love the movie set thing, but like I said, halfway through, I'm like, I'm actually liking this a lot, so I'm invested in it now. And another thing I noticed, so I like the aspect that Sydney's in seclusion, that she's hidden away, and she finally gets the call from Ghostface, and she comes back to the set. She comes to the set to try and straighten everything out. What I noticed about that was, I was like, yo, Sydney hasn't been in this movie a lot, and it's still great. Like, the dialogue is still great, the story's still great. Gale and Dewey are at odds at this point in the story. They're separated now, but now they're coming back together. It's a lot of people liken this movie to like a Scooby-Doo style movie, which is a good comparison. So you're trying to figure out what happened with Maureen Prescott. You find out she went to Hollywood before she went to Woodsboro and got with Billy's dad. You're finding out all this cool information that they wrote into this movie, and it was very interesting. They didn't make it like lame. They didn't just make a third one where it just continued on. I mean, it did continue on, but you circled back and got a lot of information that you didn't know prior to the situation. So I'm watching this, and I realize how little of Sydney's actually in the movie at this point, and I'm like, this is still a great movie. And that is a great, it shows how great all the other characters are, that Sydney doesn't have to really lead the movie.
Yeah.
That the movie isn't just on her back. Everybody is a great aspect of the movie, especially Gale, to me.
Yeah.
So Sydney comes in. One of my, probably actually my favorite part of the movie is when Sydney goes on the set and she comes out of Stu's house, and you pan out, and now you realize that's where she's been, that she's in Stu's house, and they have the Scream music playing. Then she walks in her old house. Just that whole part gave me goosebumps. It gave me chills. Ghostface comes out and attacks her. Sydney's being a badass. She's fucking shit up as usual. I thoroughly enjoyed that part. I thought that was a good aspect, a good part of the movie for Scream fans.
Yep, good scene.
Yeah.
Did you like the ghost aspect?
I could take it or leave it.
Yeah, me too.
I could take it. Pause. I could take it a little more than I can leave it. I did not enjoy. I enjoyed it a little bit. I thought it was cool.
A little bit.
I thought that this movie had the best calls of the series up until that point.
Yeah.
Best phone calls from Ghostface. The finale was great. Let's get right to the finale. They're running around the mansion. They're running around the the producer's mansion. And Ghostface is killing this guy, kills Tyson. I thought that was good how he killed Tyson. He throws him into the shelves, throws him out the window.
Yep.
Roman is dead, or whatever his name is. The director is dead in the coffin. You think he's dead. A lot of stuff's going on, and then boom.
Yeah, that's the thing. How did they pull that off? Because Gail checked his pulse.
Did she check his pulse?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
I just watched it.
Wow.
She checked his pulse.
Very interesting.
How did he stop it?
Didn't know that. Maybe he knows a magic trick.
Maybe.
Maybe it was a dummy.
Maybe.
I don't know. That was a good. That was good. I thought it was cool how they kind of that was very similar of Billy. You know,
Yeah.
you fake your death so they don't think it's you.
Yeah.
Very cool. Then he reveals that he's the long lost brother of Sidney Prescott, and he's jealous of her because she got time with mommy. And when he went to go see her and figure out who she was like, "Oh, I'm not her. You know, she's that woman's dead." And it is actually her. So he starts filming her. He starts filming her with Billy's dad. He gives the tapes to Billy, and that's why Billy ends up killing. That's why Scream began, because Billy finds out through the director that that Sidney's mom is banging his dad, and that's what caused the deterioration of his mom's relationship with his dad. Thought that was great. It wasn't whack. Like, it wasn't like they circled back and it was like, oh, boo. Like, that was a dumb story. We waited all this time for that. Thought it was cool.
I thought it was good.
I liked it a lot more than I expected. Like, I was pleasantly surprised with this movie.
Yep.
I'm giving it a 4.5.
Really?
I'm giving it a 4.5, brother. We got 10 bodies. Angelina was cool. That was a good fake out. You always have that person who you think may be the killer, but they're not. Angelina was one because they caught her with the Ghostface material.
She stole the merch, yeah.
We'll get to that in the fun facts. I got something to say about that. Got something to say about old Angie there.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Look at that. Wow.
We're talking about it. It was good.
That's what I'm talking about.
3.5.
Look at that. I'm influencing you.
Yeah.
Also thought it was cool, for those that didn't see the movie, that they started following the script of the movie. The killer started following the script of the movie that they were filming, the stab movie.
Until it got to a point where there was 3 scripts.
Right. They figured out that they didn't know who the next one to die in the movie was because there were 3 different scripts floating around, which I thought was funny because it was kind of, I don't know if it was a poke, but it was very reminiscent of what Scream 2 went through. They had all these different scripts.
They're always poking.
They're always poking stuff. Yeah. It's very reminiscent of what happened with Scream 2.
Yeah.
Anything else that I thought about the movie? Yeah, this is actually my last thing I want to say about this movie. I thought that it was fantastic because it wrapped everything up in a nice bow. Like, again, you got the explanation of why Scream even began. Yep. And then you got the engagement of Dewey and Gale. I thought that was cool. You know, at the end, they survive and they get engaged. And also, Sydney was in seclusion. She was living in fear for 3 years. And at the end, you finally see her drop all that weight when they show the open door and she kind of just leaves it open. Because she's like, all right, like, this is over. Like, this is done. I can leave the door open now. I don't have to worry about, I'm not worried about somebody coming in and killing me. And it just shows, like, was one of the only times I've seen a trilogy or any kind of horror movie wrap things up so nicely. And that's why I love Scream, because it's not just a good horror movie, it's good movies. It's not just a guy walking around killing people in a mask. Like, there's the Dewey and Gale relationship, and Sydney got her own stuff. And I just think that they tied it up very nicely. I don't know how people don't like this movie. I think it was because it may have been a little too goofy for some people. I think it was a little lighter. A lot of like people call it Scream Light, which we'll get to some of that in the fun facts, why that may have been the case. But I thought it tied everything up very, very nicely. All right, Justin, let's get to some Squeam 3 facts. You ready for this, brother?
I'm ready.
All right.
Give me the facts.
Let's talk about Big Bob. Big Bobby's back. Big Bobby's back in action for the third time. So, as you may have seen, if you've caught the drift of the Squeam franchise, they usually came out a year apart before this movie. But that did not happen for Scream 3. Kevin Williamson was very busy at this time, so there was a nice little 3-year gap. Big Bobby was not happy about that. He was like, yo, I need my Squeam. I need some Squeam in my life. So he's like, listen, Kevy, we're going to take your outline, whatever you got, and I'm going to hand this over to another writer. So he got a little impatient, and he was like, listen, I'm going to contract this guy, Ethan Kruger, who ended up hammering out Scream 3. So it was actually not written by Kevin Williamson, which I thought was an interesting fact, because while I'm watching it, again, they tied it up so well. They did such a good job to me with the storyline that it looked like it was written by Kevin.
Yeah.
Something that, good. What are you going to say? I heard you breathe.
I was going to say, maybe this guy is a really big fan.
Yeah.
And he knew that he was good.
He did say, like, he was like, when they interviewed him about it, he was like, when Bob called him, he was like, isn't Kevin writing that? And he's like, oh, no, you're going to write it now. And he was like, I kind of wish Kevin was writing it. He said something like that. Like, he was a fan. Like, he was definitely a fan, which showed.
Yeah.
Something that Bob did I thought was interesting. Bobby came through again and put a wrench in things when he liked Ethan Kruger so much that during the filming of Scream 3, he pulled him out and put him on another movie out of nowhere. He was like, I like you so much. Go do this movie now. So they had to get another writer. They had to get this woman. Her name was Lita Kalogridis, I think her name was. Is that a Greek last name? Kalogridis?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah, Lita or Leta Kalogridis, I think it is. So she ended up kind of finishing things off, and much props to her, because it just didn't look like it was such a melting pot of bullshit. Like, that's how it could have went left, in my opinion. Like, same way I was saying the rewrite, or not even the rewrites, but the on the fly decisions could have really hindered Scream 2. This could have killed it. You don't know what's going to happen. You get 2 other writers in there. Not only you find a good writer, and then you're going to pull them out to get somebody else in halfway through. That was bullshit. And apparently they were doing some on-the-spot decisions during this movie as well. Some people were saying they were basically making some on-the-fly calls, which, again, I couldn't tell. I mean, a lot of people in the world probably can notice little flaws and plot holes. I don't really notice them, to be honest. I don't really pay attention. I'm enthralled. I'm involved. So the alternate beginning of this movie, maybe this was in Kevin Williamson's treatment, I don't know, but it was actually going to be Sydney getting attacked by a Ghostface, killing that Ghostface, and it was supposed to be a fan, actually a crazy fan, and that's why she went into seclusion. So that was the explanation of why she went into seclusion. Yeah. Last fun fact that I think you're really gonna like, because I like this fact. This is wild. You getting ready?
I'm ready.
Listen to this crap. This is I'm telling you, Scream 3, the stars really aligned for them, because this was the original ending. And I think this was by Kevin Williamson. This was in his treatment, and they were like, nah. They actually cut this due to Columbine, actually. They cut this, a lot of the original plans were cut due to the Columbine shooting, and that's why they made it a little lighter. They made it a little more comedic, because they felt like they needed to take a lighter tone during the situation. But the original ending was this was supposed to be a bunch of high school kids behind this. They were going to be killing everybody. It was in Woodsboro, and it still had the Stab 3 set going on, but it was supposed to be a bunch of high school kids killing everybody. Then at the end, they were going to fake their death in front of Sydney. They were going to get back up. You ready for this? You're going to like this. They're going to get back up, and it was going to be a cult-like thing that was getting run by Stu, who was in prison, who survived Scream 1. Get the fuck out of here.
Okay,
Garbage.
that sounds like trash.
I'm glad they didn't get... I mean, for some reason, man, Scream ends up just kind of... like, the bad ideas just end up getting scrapped due to whatever, and we get better movies from it.
Yeah,
So-
that's trash. You know, before we move on, I forgot to say this. I also liked that there was one killer. They changed it up.
Yep. Again,
And
another
it's-
thing Scream did that was a
Yeah.
little different. You're right about that.
And, yep.
Yeah, that ending scene was great. It's only one guy. Speaking of that, so it was supposed to be Stu running everything from prison. Very lame. Don't like it. Listen, love you, Kevy. You're a great writer. That wasn't good. Yeah, we all have our blemishes, you know? Whatever. Stu actually got paid for that role, though.
Did he?
Yeah. Matthew Lillard ended up getting
Matthew
paid
Lillard.
for that. So good for him. He got paid. You don't give a damn. You don't gotta work.
Yep.
You can do more Scooby-Doo movies. Fuck it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go do Shaggy.
Yeah.
The reason that Nev Campbell actually wasn't in half of the movie was because they only had her for 3 weeks. She was shooting like 2 other movies at the time. So that's why she wasn't really written into the movie that well. That wasn't really a creative decision. That was actually just out of necessity. They had to just, not have her in.
It worked out.
It worked out as it usually does for Squeam. Now, Angelina was set to be the accomplice for your boy, Roman.
I could believe that.
Right?
Because I thought she was.
They shot a lot of scenes that made her really look like the accomplice, where she's like 50 feet away from when the house blew up. They're like, how'd you get over there? She has the Scream mask. She has the Ghostface mask and the voice changer. And Sydney's like, and I love how Sydney was just like, okay, sure. Yeah, whatever. So that is a little fun fact for you. Little fun fact about Squeam 3.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Thought they were very good.
Big Bob really running the show.
Yeah. He's calling audibles.
Calling it on the fly. Before we move on to Scream 4, I forgot to mention that Scream 3 had a body count of 10. So what was that compared to Scream 2? What did I say Scream 2 had? 10 too, right? I think it also had 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised that you like Scream 3. I really thought you were going to hate it.
Nope.
Really thought you were going to be like, that sucked.
No, I like it.
Well, let's move on to Squeam 4. 11 years later,
Yes.
in reality and also in the movie world, in the Scream world. So it is 11 years later. A new crop of characters are involved now. There's a bunch of new high school kids, including Sydney's cousin, who are getting stalked and killed by a mysterious person in the Ghostface costume. You still have Dewey and Gail, who are now married, and Sydney is back in Woodsboro because she's doing a book signing for her new book. So I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to say that I remember when this came out. I don't know why I didn't see it in theaters. Maybe I was busy or something, but I remember watching this and immediately loving it. This was the one Scream that I can probably say that I watched the most as a young adult to an adult. Like as a kid, I watched all 3 of them over and over and over again. This one I watched more from my late teens into my 20s. I love this movie. I thought that this had the best cinematography out of all the movies. I liked it had a good, cool, dark feel. I thought it had the best vibe out of all the movies. And it, to me, well, before I get to that, I'm glad Dewey and Gale were together because, I like the romance. I like all that stuff. And I thought it was cool how they got Sydney in with the book thing because I know you had an issue with how they brought Sydney in with 5. I thought this was a better way. She kind of just was in Woodsboro. The murder happened. The murder from the beginning, the opening scene, which I'll let you talk about that because I know you got stuff to say about the opening scene. After the opening scene, the girl gets killed. Sydney's in Woodsboro. The morning after, they find a cell phone, a knife, and some blood in Sydney's trunk. So now she has to stay because Dewey's like, listen, I don't know if you're not a suspect, but now basically you're involved, so you got to stick around.
She's a suspect. Judy said it.
Yeah. Speaking of Judy, I love Sheriff Judy. One of my favorite parts of that movie, the fucking lemon squares. Gail didn't like them lemon squares.
Lemon squares suck.
Lemon squares taste like ass. So Sydney, I like the way they got Sydney in the mix, and they had the new cast of characters. Again, like Scream 3. This was the best cast of new characters I think they ever had. All like Olivia, Kirby, Jill, the guys. Best new cast that they had so far. Better than Scream 5 for sure. Scream 3, I think the best one was the girl who was playing Gail. I think she was like the only one that was like really good, really stand out. This one, I think everybody had their place. I think they were good. Also, speaking about the girls, this was the hottest new cast that they had. Am I wrong? What other cast was hotter than this? Like talk about the new crop. The additions. This was the hottest. These were the hottest ones. Everybody loved Kirby.
Oh yeah.
Don't act like you didn't love Kirby.
I like Kirby.
I'm going to take something back. During our Squeam 5 review, I said that was the most brutal Ghostface. I stand corrected. I was wrong. It's Scream 4's Ghostface. To me, this was the most brutal Ghostface. I'm going to get to my favorite kill in a second. I think, first of all, Anthony Anderson got the knife right through the freaking face, right through the skull. Come on, bro. That was better than any of the kills in Scream 5. The only Scream 5 kill that I really, really liked was Judy getting it on the front lawn in the daytime. This movie, Jill's mom gets killed through the mail slot. Just when you think everything's over, she gets the fucking knife right through the neck or the back. But my favorite kill to this movie, the most brutal kill to me in all of Scream, is Olivia. She got it the worst. It was a great lead up to the kill. You got Jill, Sydney's younger cousin, Kirby in the bedroom. Olivia comes home. She lives across the street. They're like, oh, you want to come over? She's like, nah, I don't want to be there because Sydney's there. She's like a dark cloud. Everybody's afraid of Sydney because she's bringing, they think she brings the bad vibes. She brings Ghostface wherever she goes.
Yeah.
So the girls can see each other from across the street, across the way, through the window. They're talking on the phone. Next thing you know, Kirby gets a call on Jill's phone from who it looks to be Jill's boyfriend. But it's not Jill's boyfriend. It's a cell phone that was cloned. And it's actually Ghostface. Ghostface is like, yeah, I'm going to fucking, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm not Trevor. I'm not Trevor. She's like, well, who are you? Oh, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm in the closet. He's like, look in the closet. Kirby opens their closet. She's like, nothing. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, I never said I was in your closet. Jumps out of Olivia's closet across the way. Stabs her through the hand, kicks her into the freaking dresser, throws her into the wall. Just stabs the ever-living shit out of this girl. Sydney sees that from across the way. She breaks in the house finally, and there's she throws her out the window. Not all the way out the window, but throws her halfway out the window, drags her back in. I'm assuming stabs her even more. This was the most brutal kill in Scream. Am I wrong? What was more brutal than this?
I don't know.
Maybe Judy? Maybe Judy? Maybe the guard?
Judy?
Oh, maybe Drew?
Yeah.
Maybe Drew. Yeah, definitely Drew compares.
I mean, Dewey was kind of brutal too.
Yeah, Dewey was up there, but in my opinion, this one always stood out to me as the most brutal. I mean, just watching it, the knife through the hand, she got her ass beat. It was great. Also, Sydney's manager got it pretty good because not only did she get stabbed up in the parking lot, which was another great scene, she got thrown off the roof onto the news van. I thought that right in the middle of a press conference. Fantastic. This was the most brutal Ghostface, and I wrote that in my notes before I even watched Scream 5. I was like, this got to be the most brutal one. And I don't think I was wrong about that. I correct me. Someone correct me and tell me that this ain't the best. My man said to Sydney, I'm going to cut your eyelids open so you don't blink when I stab you in the face. Best Ghostface line ever. What was better than that? Name it. Name it right now. Name it. Well, I'm going to gut you like a fish? No. Wrong. What other one compares to that? I'm trying to think. I'm going to cut through your neck till you feel bone, which was the one he said in the beginning of this movie. That was great. But it still doesn't compare to that. Motherfucker was wildin'. Ghostface was on his shit in this movie. Speaking of the Olivia kill, another great, I mean, it was such a good, this was the best part of the movie, was the Olivia kill. The finale was fantastic, which we'll get to, but the sequence of events from Olivia getting home, getting killed, all that, Sydney is a total badass, running into the danger, starts beating the shit out of Ghostface. Takes a freaking picture off the wall, smashes him in the face. They fall down the stairs. Sydney, what is she? She kicks him in the face, and then he runs away when the cops turn around, right? Jill ends up getting sliced in the arm, very reminiscent of Scream 2 when the boyfriend got stabbed in his arm. Forgot about this. Let's rewind to Scream 3 real quick. Did you notice that Sydney was wearing the letters that Derek gave her in Scream 3 the whole time?
No.
Yep, there you go. Did you notice that? Now you know.
I did not.
Sydney was wearing the Alpha, Beta, Omega, whatever the fucking frat
I did
letters.
not notice that.
That's right. Well, now you know. Now you know things. You've been enlightened. So, back to the Scream 4 scene I'm talking about. That whole sequence of events was fantastic. That fight scene between... She don't take no shit, bro. She's always beating Ghostface's ass. It's great. In Scream 3, she did the same thing when they were in the house. She threw him off the freaking set all the way down into the bed, breaking his freaking back. Fantastic. Let's get to the finale. One thing I thought was dumb about this movie, though. So, Kirby, everybody's going to Kirby's house. After all this stuff goes down, they have Scream Fest. Gail almost dies, which is usually Dewey. But now Gail almost dies in this movie. We'll get to that later. And Sydney finds out that Jill, her younger cousin, is at Kirby's house after Jill's mom gets killed through the mail slot. So, and now everybody's going to Kirby's house the same way everybody was at Stu's house. This is where shit's about to go down. Shit's about to go left. Ghostface comes to the house, and Sydney is now running around with everybody, and she's running around with Jill. She throws Jill under the bed and says, stay there. She jumps out of the window, calls Dewey and says, listen, Ghostface is in Kirby's house. I need you. Dewey goes, all right, he's with Sheriff Judy. I need all units to Kirby's house. Does Kirby live in fucking Africa? Because how long does it take to get to Kirby's house?
Right.
What a fucking finale this was. It doesn't top the obviously Scream 1, but boy, does it compete. So you find out that Jill is actually Ghostface, or one of the Ghostface. It's Jill and this boy Charlie, who runs the cinema club. And the great scene where Charlie fakes everybody. He finally gets the girl, and then he stabs her. He finally gets to get with Kirby, and he stabs her up. That's when you find out he's one of Ghostface. He's chasing Sydney around, and then Jill comes out, takes the mask off. Hello, Sydney. They're taping the whole thing, which was a good aspect of the movie. They always Scream always stays current, and she shuts the cameras off because they've been taping the whole time. They've been taping all the murders, which was cool. And Jill goes into this whole thing. She brings out her boyfriend, reminiscent of Sydney's dad. She brings her out all taped up, shoots him in the damn dick for cheating on her, and just because. And she says, "Listen, I'm gonna frame you. I'm gonna frame you for killing everybody." And she shoots him in the fucking head. Very graphic. What they didn't get to do in Scream 3, they got it in Scream 4. They ramped up the violence. I mean, they showed him, boom, right to the fucking melon. She is now with her accomplice, and she ends up killing him. Obviously, he's not aware that that's about to go down. So he thinks that Charlie thinks he's going to get stabbed in the arm. Jill stabs him in the gut. Jill stabs him in the heart and then the gut. Heart in the gut. She goes on this great rant that is good for Scream is what Scream is good at. And she's explaining why she's going to kill Sydney or why she's doing this. And she basically says she's always been jealous of Sydney. She wants to be famous. And this is in 2011 when I can imagine Instagram is kind of just getting real hot, and being like an internet celebrity is getting real hot now, which it's very typical now this day and age. And she's basically has another great line, and she's like, "Listen, this was never about killing you. This is about becoming you. I'm going to kill you, and I am going to be the survivor of this whole ordeal, and now I'm going to be famous. I don't want friends," because Sydney's like, "Oh, you killed all your friends." She's like, "I don't need no fucking friends. I need fans." She's like, "You don't got to do anything in this world to be successful now except have fucked up stuff happen to you." I thought that whole exposition was fantastic. I always enjoyed that part. Then it gets even better. So Jill stabs Sydney and proceeds, everybody's dead now. She proceeds to scratch her face with her boyfriend's dead hands, stab herself in the shoulder, throw her face into a glass picture, and then do a backdrop into a glass table and lay next to Sydney so that she can be the sole survivor. Tell me that wasn't a fucking amazing scene, that wasn't an amazing finale, and it's not even over.
Yeah.
It's not even over because they end up going to the hospital. Jill finds out that Sydney survived. She goes to Sydney's bedside, tries to kill her. Gail and Dewey end up running in there. Jill ends up messing everybody up, beats the shit out of Dewey, shoots Sheriff Judy, and by the end, Sydney prevails by shocking her with the, what do you call it? What do you call those
the
things?
Electric fucking...
The one they shock your chest with. I can't remember what it's called right now.
Something paddles.
Yeah, the paddles that they shock your chest with, which I should remember because it's in Left 4 Dead, and I can't think of what it is. But they have a great part where Gail's at gunpoint. You know, Sydney's laying down, but she's grabbing the paddles to shock the chest with. And Gail's like, "Can I have one last word?" And Jill's like, "What?" And she's like, "Clear." And Sydney shocks Jill's fucking head. Jill ends up getting up one last time, and they shoot her. And that's it. That's the end of the movie. I thought it was an amazing finale. Always loved it. Jill was fantastic as a character. I thought they did a great job of not letting you know that she was the killer. They did a lot of good things. Her getting sliced, her being hid under the bed. I mean, I didn't know that she was the killer when I first watched it. And I would have never suspected it. I'm giving this one a 4.5, pretty much like every other one. It was my favorite for a long time. I touted this as the best Scream for a long time till I rewatched all of them, and we'll find out where it lands. But amazing movie. Justin, what did you think?
This one for me, when I first watched it, I did not like it. This movie, it took a couple of rewatches to like it, and I still don't like it like that.
What?
I like the darkness of it, the brutality. More and more, I'm liking Jill's motive, and I like the finale. I love the whole scene you explained. She set it up, threw herself through the table.
So good.
She fucked
So good.
herself over in the hospital because she's like, oh, Dale got shot in the arm, just like me.
Got stabbed in the arm, yeah.
Dale was like, how did she know that?
That was awesome.
Yeah. So I do like this movie. However, I don't really care about the characters except for Kirby. I don't care for Charlie. I don't care for that guy with the camera.
Yeah, I forgot his name. The other
I don't
guy.
really care.
The other nerd.
Trevor, I didn't care about.
I thought Trevor was so just to cut you off real quick.
Yeah.
The dumbest part of the movie was when the kid with the camera was walking up to him in the hall and he's like, "Oh, you just got dumped. Like, what do you think about that?" And Trevor does the stupidest, like weirdest. He goes, "Ah!" And then the kid runs away like he's supposed to be scared of that. He goes, "Ah!" And the kid runs away like a little bitch. I'm like, what is that supposed to do?
I don't know.
What was that?
So I didn't like the cast. What else did I? Oh, it's not that I didn't like the story, but for some reason I kept watching this and I found myself like tuning in and out.
Okay.
Like when they were getting to Kirby's house, I was like bored. So that kind of took the movie down for me.
Okay.
I don't know why. Just something about
Maybe it was a little stretched too
maybe
long.
the pacing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I was in and out. But I do like the movie. It was a good movie. And I had a hard time, like, deciding if I wanted to put this over 3 or not. And we'll get to that.
Well, we'll see.
But
We shall see.
I give this movie a 3.5.
Okay. All right. You're right now you're putting it over Scream. Oh no. You said Scream 3 was 3.5 as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, you will answer my question about the best ghost face, I'm assuming. Well, I said most brutal, but I'm assuming you'll take that into account when we do the Q&A and answer best ghost face. For those that care, 12 bodies in this movie. So the highest body count, most brutal. Probably not the funniest. I think that goes to Scream 3. I think Scream 3 was the funniest, especially this made me laugh that I laughed so hard at this when Dewey shocked himself in Scream 3. I don't know why I thought that still is hilarious. Stand back. Fantastic. I'm a major fan of this movie. I just watched it. You watched Scream 3 today. I watched Scream 4 today.
I watched Scream 4 too today. I watched 3 and 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into your favorite part, Justin. Let's get into some Squeam 4 facts.
Let's talk about it.
Yes. All right. So which one should I start with here? All right. Well, so there was an original opening to this movie, and it was that Sydney was supposed to be presumed dead, and then she would come back halfway through the movie and do kind of what happened in Scream 5 with, what's her name? With Tara, whatever the fuck her name is. But Big Bob, no, pal. That ain't happening. He axed that shit. Big Bob. Yeah, I'm glad. Big Bob also was like a real thorn in Kevin Williamson's side because he was not really happy with the scripts and the storylines that Kevin was writing. So he made him write it like 15 times. Like there was a lot of different things that was supposed to happen in this movie. So I got about 9 rewrites and a couple revisions, but very reminiscent of Scream 1. Kevin Williamson also had an idea for another trilogy when he created this movie. Now, you ready for this?
Yep.
I don't know. We'll see if you like this. The idea for the trilogy was that Jill would get away with the murders. She'd get away with everything. And it would carry on into Squeam 5. But also, Sydney would survive. But you wouldn't probably like this part. It was supposed to be set in college now. Jill was in college. Sydney was the professor at that college. But she would have no recollection of what happened during the finale. She wouldn't remember. She would just wake up. And there would be a new Ghostface who's killing Jill and her, who's coming to kill Jill and her friends because they know what Jill did. And that was supposed to be the start or the second movie in the next Scream trilogy.
That's actually interesting. I didn't have mine yet.
Get out of here! I don't want to see that.
You know like that? I mean, because Jill did so good as the villain.
I like her as the killer better. I'd rather her die as the killer than to go on and then not be the killer and then the killer's after her. I don't think it's a hard. I shouldn't boo it. I'm not gonna boo it. I'm gonna give it a yay. It's creative. I'm gonna take back I take it back, Kevin. All right, take it back. I just think it's not really. You know what? Let me say this. It would probably be better than when we got Scream 5. I would enjoy that more than Scream 5, probably as a storyline.
Listen, it's better than a cult.
Way better than that.
Yeah.
Way better than that. Now, this Squeam fact is for me alone. Same way I gave you the Brittany Murphy one. Selena Gomez was in talks for this movie as Jill. I don't think. Listen, I love Selena, but Jill did a great job. I forgot.
I think you told me this one time.
What's her name? It's escaping me. Emma Roberts, man. She fucking slayed this.
Yeah.
There's no way. I don't think anybody would have been able to compete with her. I don't care who it is. Nobody would have been able to compete with.
Sorry, Selena, but I can't picture you as Ghostface.
No. So that's all the Squeam 4 facts I have for you right there. That was it. Just a couple little tidbits of info.
Okay.
The trilogy thing was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You had a point there. I would have probably liked it better than Squeam 5. Speaking of Squeam 5,
Let's talk about it.
you take this one.
Alright. So, if you listened to the last episode, you guys know I really liked Scream 5. I liked the cast, I liked the story, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I like the brutality. It was brutal. There's a couple of things I didn't like about it, but overall, I did like Scream 5.
What was your rating on it again?
Did I give it a 4? I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember what I gave it either. But let me backtrack a little bit. For those that don't know, this takes place how many years after Justin? I think it's another 10 or 11.
Is it 10?
I think it's about another 10 or 11 years after the events of Scream 4. Everybody's gone their separate ways, including Dewey and Gale. They are not together anymore. Dewey is back in Woodsboro after going to New York with Gale. He couldn't cut it, so he's back on his own in Woodsboro, and he's no longer the sheriff. There is now Sheriff Judy, who survived Scream 4, which I was happy about. Another crew of kids who are way more removed from the original cast, or let's say Sydney, than the previous one. There is a legacy cast, but they're really not connected with Sydney like that. It's actually Billy Loomis's daughter who is the main character of this movie. So they're bringing it all the way back to Billy Loomis. Ghostface is coming back to kill. They go to get Dewey's help. Gale ends up coming back. Sydney ends up coming back like way later in the movie, and you get what you get. That was the basic synopsis of the movie. You ended up liking it a lot, huh?
I do like it. I think this movie for me is what 4 is to you. I can watch this movie over and over.
You didn't like how they shoehorned. You felt like they shoehorned the original cast.
Yeah.
You would have
except for Dewey.
So let me ask you. You would have, if this movie was just Dewey and the kids, you would have liked that.
Yes.
You're bugging.
I think so.
You're wildin'. Bugging.
I think they could have lurked around Sydney and Gail.
I think that would have been a dumb workaround.
But I do like this movie. I'll give it a 4.
All right.
I don't remember what I said, but I'll give it a 4.
All right. Let me tell you something right now. Everybody calm down. You're wildin', bro. You're seriously out of your mind. This is the worst in the Scream series. I'm going to go on record and say that right now. So now you know now you know where it's going on my list, baby. Get the fuck out of here. You're wilding out. First of all, what I like about the Scream series is you have the main cast there, whether it's, you have Sidney, Dewey, Gale. Maybe one of them would have died in the last one, but I like it to be focused more on those guys. And it didn't help that I didn't like the new cast that much. I did think Amber was cool. I thought she was funny. She was creepy. Pretty much everybody that I talked to was like, yeah, we knew Amber was the killer. Like, everybody says that.
Yeah.
And if I had a gun to my head, I probably would have said Amber. I didn't
say Richie.
I didn't guess Richie though. I was talking to some people. They also said they guessed Richie. I didn't guess it. I didn't get it. I really could care less about the kids. I thought the brother and sister, I really didn't care about them. Vince was basically there to get his throat slit in the beginning. He's Stu's mom's son. Wow. I mean, he could basically be related to the fucking janitor that was cleaning up in Scream 1. That's how little I care about Stu's fucking sister. We all agreed that the girl who played Tara, phenomenal. That's her name, Tara?
Yeah, Tara.
Forgot her name. Jenna Olivia? What's her name? Jenny Ortega? Jenny Ortega. She's great, man. I mean, like we said, you felt everything that she was going through the movie. When she got her leg stomped on, when she was struggling to get out of the bed in the hospital scene, I was in pain during that. She did phenomenal. Sam was right underneath her, not even close to Jenny Ortega though. Everybody else, I could have left it. Not excluding the original cast. Judy barely got any airtime. I thought Judy was way cooler in the first one. I mean, in 4. She was a lot funnier. I didn't feel like they didn't give her enough screen time. And then she ends up getting killed in broad daylight, which I thought was the best part of the movie.
That was fucking epic.
Gets killed in broad daylight. I need to make a revision to what I said. Candy is not the only other person to get killed in the daytime. Stupidly, I said that. Also, obviously, the principal from number 1 got killed in the daytime. So this is like the only...
And Randy.
Oh, yeah, so I'm bugging. Forget that whole fucking thing I was saying. So this is the second person to get killed in broad daylight, I guess. Not the first... Well, she's the first person to get killed like outside in the fucking lawn in the daytime. Let's just put it that way. In the middle of the daytime outside, Randy was in a van. But it was a great scene. It reminded me of 3 from Hell when Baby tracked down the girl and started stabbing her up in the middle of the lawn, and then the old lady's looking at her and she didn't even give a fuck. That's probably honestly my favorite part of the movie. That call was great. The call to Sheriff Judy where she has to go back and save her son. Somebody corrected me. I was talking to Cemetery Girl actually. And she told me, I was like, why didn't she go in with the gun? Like, that was dumb. I said that in our review. And Cemetery Girl goes, she wasn't in uniform, you jackass. She probably didn't have a gun on her.
I didn't even notice that.
Me neither. I pictured her in the uniform.
I thought she was driving to work.
Oh, she was driving for Chinese.
All right.
So I thought she had the uniform on in my memory.
Yeah.
But she didn't have it, so she probably never got.
Yeah, you're right.
So I take it back, Judy. You weren't dumb. Take it back.
Yeah.
I really didn't like the new cast. The motive we already spoke about. I thought the motive about them just killing so that they can make a better stab movie. So that they ended up killing all these people so that they can inspire a better stab movie.
Yeah.
Because the other stab movies were not good. And they were doing they weren't on par, and they weren't connecting with Sydney.
Yeah.
Stupid as fuck.
I like it.
Pointless. Only thing good about that was Amber. She was a great killer. Like, she was just so creepy and so weird. Speaking of Amber, Cemetery Girl also said this. Check this out. I didn't notice this. I was talking to one of my other friends before this. He didn't notice this, but she said that when you look at the scene with Amber and the lesbian girl in the basement, that is Amber's house, which was Stu's house. She said that you can see a black boots sitting right there in the basement. A pair of black boots right there, like the killer's boots.
Oh, yeah.
In the background. I didn't know. You saw that?
Yeah.
You didn't say nothing to me.
Up here. No, you saw it.
You noticed that was Amber's boots?
Yeah, you can see it.
I didn't even peep that.
I noticed that.
One issue me and you both had, though,
Yeah.
was I guess people started teleporting now because you take this one.
So Tara was in the hospital, and she was Ghostface was trying to kill her, and Ghostface was on the phone with Sam and Dewey, and they were rushing in the car, and then
they're on the fucking highway.
2 seconds later, they're in the elevator.
Yeah,
coming up.
They're like not even come. They're there. They arrived.
Yeah,
not even coming up. They're Jenny Ortega is about to get butchered, and they say something, and Ghostface is like,
I'm stolen. How do you know I'm not stolen for time?
And then all of a sudden, bing! Like a second after, you see them.
Yeah, they were just on the highway.
Next thing you know, bing! They're in the elevator out of nowhere. Boom. Something I thought was also dumb in that scene. Okay, this I was really pissed about. So Dewey does the right thing. He kicks Ghostface's ass, who we all assume is Amber at that moment. I don't know how people got that conclusion, but whatever.
No, didn't Amber lead Sam down? Oh no,
that was what are you talking about?
Yeah, so
people were saying that was Amber in that scene, right? Anyway, so Dewey kicks her ass. He goes to the elevator. They're about to leave. He goes, "Listen, I know how this goes. You got to shoot him because that's how usually Squeam is. They usually come back for one last little surprise and they get shot.
Gotta shoot him in the head."
So Dewey goes back. He's about to shoot Ghostface. His phone rings. He looks at the phone, and that's when he gets stabbed. Can the call wait, Dewey? Why would you even care that your phone is ringing, my man? You got Ghostface in your line of vision, a gun in your hand, shoot him in the fucking head, and answer the phone later. That shit didn't even ring. It rang one time. He went, oh, let me look. Boom, get stabbed up.
Yeah, that was pretty dumb.
I love you, Dewdrop. You deserve that. Can I also talk about something, talk about teleportation? So in Scream 4, back to Scream 4 real quick. I forgot to mention this in the Olivia scene. I thought it was kind of weird, just timing-wise, so Ghostface is killing Olivia, throws her out of the window. Sydney has a little trouble getting in, but she breaks in, and then she goes upstairs, and all of a sudden, the whole room is covered in blood. And I was like, you got enough time to do all that?
Right.
That was 2 minutes. You got enough time. I'm talking about the room every wall is drenched in blood.
Yeah, that was
and I was like,
Oliver.
I like the scene. I like the view of that. I was just like, did you have enough time to do that?
I don't think so.
No. So, yeah, the teleportation in Scream 5 was odd. How do you know we're not stalling for time? Meanwhile, she's on the fucking freeway. And the Dewey thing was dumb. The killers were dumb. The motive was dumb.
Nah.
Only thing that was cool. Oh, and listen, how did you feel about the Billy Loomis thing again as the...
I still don't like it. I keep seeing it, and I don't like it. I like that he was in the movie, but not as that.
So Sam and Tara are sisters, if we didn't mention that. Sam is Billy Loomis's daughter, who she finds out through some journals earlier on in her life, and that's what drives the wedge between her and her family. And in the movie, she has hallucinations of Billy Loomis talking to her. And Cemetery Girl brought up a good point because Billy Loomis is almost portrayed as a good guy in this movie. Like how he's viewed, like how he comes across. If you didn't watch any other movie, you'd be like, oh, what is that, a good guy that died?
Yeah.
Because he just kind of seems like, you know, he gives her a wink or whatever the fuck when she's getting ready to kill Richie with the knife. That was the best part of the movie. Amber getting shot into the stove and Richie getting absolutely butchered. That's another one of the most violent kills to me was Sam just destroying Richie with that knife.
Yeah.
Just totally just obliterating that man. That's up there with maybe one of the best kills as well. Just the tense part of that scene. It's back in Stu's house. They kind of circled around back, but I think if any movie, Scream 3 circled back the best. This one just seemed like it was just meh. It was very meh. It was a good movie. Now, here's what I'm going to say. If this was a standalone movie, I would probably think it's a lot better. But I think compared to all the other Screams, it just don't hit. It's the first time, I think, where they just fell off a little bit. I love, if Sidney, Dewey, and Gail are alive, they need to be in the forefront of that movie. They're talking about, they're going to pass the torch. Like I said, if you're going to pass the torch and Scream, blow it out. I don't want it to get passed. Fuck that. Squeam is Sidney. That's it. Sidney dies, the franchise dies.
No, I don't think so.
This wasn't Scream 3 where you can have half the movie without Sidney. Those characters could not carry the movie. I'm sorry. And it's focused on Sam, who's not even the best character. It's Tara. Boo! Fuck out of here. And Richie, the big dork. Richie's a fucking clown. Oh, he's acting like he's never seen Scream stab before. He's the biggest fucking fan. Get out of here. Another thing we liked.
That's the point.
Another thing we liked was that we both agree on was that you find out Kirby, who got killed by Charlie in Scream 4, you presumed was dead, was an Easter egg in this movie. They found out she was alive because Richie's looking up some stab facts or whatever the fuck. He's looking up the stab review of Stab 8, and you see on the corner that they did an interview with Kirby, like that she survived the Woodsboro massacres of 11 years ago. So that was nice. And we didn't like that they promoted, like, they didn't promote it, but they showed metal Ghostface, this metal Ghostface mask in the trailer, all up close and cool, like it was going to be part of the movie. And it was part of one of the Stab movies, and it was from 40 feet away from Richie's laptop.
Yeah, the mask and the flamethrower.
You faked me out, buddy.
Okay.
You faked me out.
Okay.
Bruh, this movie gets a 3.
Yeah.
This movie might get a 2.5.
Yeah.
3.1.
Damn.
2.2. Again, if this was a standalone movie, I would have liked it a lot more. Ghostface was top notch in this movie. Don't get me wrong. Ghostface was on point. Not as much as 4. That's Scream 5. I only have one fun fact about that movie.
Yeah.
And that is that Matthew Lillard is in that movie. Stu's in the movie. Not Stu.
Is he?
Yeah, Matthew Lillard's in the movie. He is Metal Ghostface. They got him to play Metal Ghostface. There you go. So Stu's in the everybody was talking about Stu's gonna be in the movie. We're gonna get Stu back. Well, you got him. He's in the Metal Ghostface. There you go.
At least he got another payday.
Yeah, he
for doing nothing.
He didn't do nothing. He was in the
What
movie.
did he do?
He did more than he did in Scream 3, which was literally nothing.
Oh, man.
So, there you go. Now, let's get to the Squeam Q&A. Here we go, Justin. You ready for the Q&A, baby? This is it. Let's start off with this one. This was a hard one for me. What is your favorite call of the series? 1 through 5. What is your favorite call?
Favorite call?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You didn't get that? I wrote
I don't have that either.
what do you mean you don't have that?
I don't have that either.
Your favorite phone call of the series.
I don't have that.
What do you have? What do you have?
I guess it would have to be the intro for the first one.
Oh, you talking about Drew Barrymore?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you the one that always comes to my mind. The one that I like is the third one. I think Cotton Weary's intro was the best one. I think that was the best call. Yeah. I think all in all, like that was the best scene, the one you're talking about, but the best call, I think that was the best one. With the voice changer. That was my favorite one. Who is your favorite character?
Favorite character gotta be Stu. I love Stu.
Stu?
Yeah.
Out
He's
of
great.
everybody in the freaking series, your favorite character is Stu.
Yep.
Wow.
Great character. I'm always quoting him. Great. Stu.
You did quote him earlier. My man says Stu, man. I'm going with Gail Weathers. I love hell yeah, Gail. Are you crazy? She's the one with the sharpest tongue, and it only gets sharper as the fucking series goes on. She got that cutthroat attitude, the aggressive, does whatever it takes to get the story. Freaking Kenny's dead on the windshield. She's just driving off. I mean, she don't care what it takes to get the job done. You see her soften up, but really only for Dewey. She's a badass, man. She's maybe not as much of a badass as Sydney, and you want to hear something crazy? Somebody said this on one of the YouTube videos. Did you notice that Gail never got a phone call from Ghostface?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Never noticed that till it was pointed out to me. But I love Gail's attitude. She always got something crazy. She always got something to say. She's the best. Who is the hottest character of the franchise?
This one I went back and forth on.
I can imagine. It's very hard.
I had Jenna McCarthy from Scream 2.
Who's that?
I had, she played,
Jenna McCarthy.
Sarah.
Sarah who? Michelle Gellar?
What happened?
Sarah? Who the hell is that?
Yeah. And fucking,
Who's Sarah? In Scream 2?
yeah.
Sarah Michelle Gellar?
No, she played the Sarah chick, no?
Who the fuck is that?
Jenna McCarthy,
Jenna McCarthy?
the blonde chick.
Hold on.
Look her up.
Jenna McCarthy? Who did she play?
It was her. It was Tatum in number 1. I liked her. Deputy Judy. I liked her. I liked Kirby.
Bro, she was in Scream 3. You talking about Candy?
Was it 3?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 2.
Talking about Candy, bro. There you go. Yeah, the only blonde in Scream 2 was the sorority girl.
So I'm gonna have to say Jenna McCarthy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, buddy. We're talking about series, the whole series.
Yeah.
Going with Gail again. Gail was the hottest. Especially Scream 2. Forget about it. Forget it. It's going to be a hard one. What is your favorite kill of the series?
Favorite kill, the one that I kept going back to, it was in Scream 2. Then he stabbed a chick in the back 2 times and tossed her off the balcony.
The sorority girl. That's
Yeah,
your favorite
I love that.
kill?
Yeah, I love that one.
Bro, Anthony Anderson getting it in the forehead. I mean, Dewey,
I got on my list.
Olivia.
but I keep watching that one.
Wow. I'm ashamed to be next to you right now.
Why?
That didn't even come to my mind. obviously, we know my favorite kill. I was touting about it. I was talking about it for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Olivia. How you got that over Olivia? You're wildin'.
I just like it.
You're wildin'. You like Sarah Michelle Gellar. That's why. You like Sarah Michelle Gellar. You like that. You like Buffy. That's why you like it.
Yeah, it was funny.
All right. This is another hard one. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Who is your favorite Ghostface? Your favorite killer?
Billy.
Billy?
Yeah.
All right, I could see that. I could see that. Corn syrup. Ooh. He had some good lines. I'm going with Jill, bruh.
I was going back and forth between Billy and Jill, but I just like Billy.
Jill's the
more.
most savage. I don't know if Jill was the one that killed her mom, but she had her mom killed or killed her own mother. Okay? Killing all the friends. She shot the guy in the dick. I mean, she was just badass. She had great exposition at the... Jill was fantastic. Loved her. Loved her. Favorite killer. Favorite Ghostface. I don't care. I'm gonna make a lot of Scream fans mad with this podcast.
He might.
Because I love Scream 3. I think Jill's the best. I mean, people are gonna be up in arms. I better watch my shit. I better watch. There's gonna be people protesting outside my door.
They might.
People are gonna go
Ghostface
crazy.
might come after you.
I think I'm gonna hurt a lot of feelings with this next question.
Oh boy.
It's time. It's time to rank the movies, Justin.
Yep.
Let's hear your list. I'm sure this is gonna be a debate.
You're gonna hate it.
Let's hear it.
First on my list, the best Scream.
Go least to best.
Least to best.
Let's go least to best.
So my least favorite Scream, not saying it was bad.
You better not.
I'm
You
gonna
better
have
not
to
say it.
two.
You
Two.
number 2.
Yeah. Fourth. I told you I was going back and forth, but I think I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to say 4.
The fuck you. Boo. Yo, wildin' out. Number 4. You think 5 is better than 4? Are you crazy?
The third one on my list is number 3.
What?
Hmm. Fourth is number 5, and my favorite is number 1.
I'm in shock. You think number 5 is better than 2, 3, and 4?
Yep.
You might get people more pissed than I'm about to get people pissed.
I don't know.
You might get. You are wildin'.
You'll see. Let us know in the comments. Are you pissed?
My man says Scream 5 is the second best?
I liked it a lot.
All right. Well, here's my rank. Number 5, least best, obviously Scream 5 or Scream 2022. No. You're wildin'. You're wildin' with that. Next up is Scream 2. Love the movie. Good movie. Just not on par with the next ones I'm going to mention. Next up, Scream. Scream 1. That's right. Scream 1. Yeah. That's right. Don't what me.
You put 3 over 1?
You'll see where I put it. Pause.
Bro.
Coming in number 3 is Scream 1.
Oh.
Coming in at number 2, Scream 4. Very hard decision. Very hard decision. It's picking between Scream 3 and Scream 4. But that only leaves one. My number 1 favorite Scream right now is Scream 3. That's right. I'm ready for rocks to get thrown through my window.
Oh my
Listen,
God.
man, it summed up the series. I know that Scream 1 started it all, but Scream 3 it had better violence for me. Besides the Drew Barrymore kill, it was funnier. It tied things up very well. I love Sydney in it. Just everything about it. I think it was very well rounded. Scream 4. I mean, I was watching Scream 4 today, and I'm like, damn, am I gonna put this under Scream 2? Like, it's still a big debate. Tomorrow, I might think Scream 4 is the best, but nothing. Those two are gonna be up for debate, but the rest of them stay where they are.
See, I'm like that with 3 and 4, but they're not as high as on my list.
Nah, number 4 and number 3 are the best ones ever made. Sorry, I know Scream started all. It's the original. Blah blah blah. That's it. Don't sit back in your chair at me. You put fucking Scream 5. That's more blasphemous than what I did.
No.
My man put Scream 5, bro. Wild. If you're watching this on YouTube, let us know your ranks in the comment section. We got some bonus questions, Justin. We can't, we got to get some bonus questions in there. Number 1. I'm sure you thought about this a lot. I thought about this a lot. So, Justin, let's say you, me, Dre, and Mo are in a Scream movie. What order do we get killed in? And who survives, if there's a survivor? And why?
So, I'm going to say I died first.
Wow.
Just because I can't run, I'm just going to die. Ghostface catches me. That's it. I'm dead. I'm dead. So, second, I'm going to say Mo. Because Mo is going to run after Ghostface. Yeah, I could take him, knowing though he cannot.
And damn well he can't.
Damn well he cannot.
He's going to get stabbed in the gut.
The man's going to get stabbed.
He's going to get deweyed.
He's going to pick up a gun and try to shoot Ghostface.
He's going to get deweyed.
Yeah.
All right.
I think Dre dies next.
Wow.
Yeah, I was having a hard time with that because I'm like, Dre might get stabbed, but he might survive. But then I was like, nah, I think Dre's.
Why does Dre die before me?
That's the thing. I don't think you die.
You think I survive?
I think you outsmart Ghostface and you survive.
Bro, I had to get a new cable box because I thought mine was broken and it just wasn't even plugged in.
Yeah, but then
You think I'm going to survive a Scream movie?
because-
I do not make great decisions.
When it comes to like situations, thinking on the fly, you're like bing, bing, bing. You're good with that.
I spit out my iced tea. I don't think I'm bing, bing, bing.
No, technical stuff you're not good with, but with scenarios,
You know what would be
you're on
bad?
your feet.
If Ghostface called me and he goes, "Let me ask you a question, Gritty. What's 30 times 20? I'd be like, I don't know. 48? Yeah, if Ghostface gives me a math question, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm shocked at your list. You think I survive?
yeah.
Let me just wipe my mic down a little bit. All right, interesting. Thank you for the confidence. Here's my order.
Okay.
Number 1 is Mo. Mo is definitely dying first. He doesn't lock his door. Why would he be the first one to die? My man has no type of protection. Ghostface could just, yo, who's that? Is that Jay? Swoop. Done. Done. My man's done. Forget Mo. Ghostface don't even gotta call him. Just show up.
He ain't gonna answer the phone.
First of all, Ghostface is not gonna answer. Hello. What's your favorite scary movie, Mo? I don't know. Conjuring. I don't even watch that shit. He's gonna come into the door.
Oh no, Annabelle.
He's gonna be like, "Do you think I'm in the front door or the back door?" Oh, I don't know. Both of them are locked. It could be anyone. Mo's definitely dead. Next up is you. And I don't think there's really nothing against you when I say this. It's just I could just picture your death happening before mine and Dre's because I just feel like you're going to get killed letting Blue out. I think you're going to go out. I think you're the easier target because you're in a less populated area than me and Dre. I feel like it's going to be 6 a.m. or late at night, and you're going to let Blue out just like you did before the show. Blue's not... Hold on.
I thought we were all in the same house.
No, we're all separate.
I thought that's what you said.
No,
I said stalking us.
Yeah,
in the house.
He's stalking us, not in the house. I didn't even write that. I'm talking about all separate.
Huh.
So I picture you letting Blue out. Blue not coming back. He's not responding. Blue, come on, the fuck in here. The fuck. You're gonna start screaming. You're gonna start stomping him. This fucking dog. You're gonna walk outside, and Ghostface gonna kill you. That's how I think you die. I think he just takes advantage of Blue, kills Blue, first animal to die and scream, and you're next. And he hangs you from the roof or something. Next is me. I think I'm more unpredictable than Dre, but I think I'm more vulnerable than Dre. I could not leave the house for like a week. Okay, so Ghostface is gonna have a hard time getting me. But I think this is how Ghostface is gonna get me. I think Ghostface is gonna get me when I do my laundry because I do my laundry at like 3 a.m. and there's nobody downstairs in the building, and there's these 2 windows that you can get in and out of the laundry room with. Like if those are open or anything, it's by the dumpsters. You can just get in. I think I'm gonna be doing my laundry 2 a.m. Ghostface is gonna sneak in, boop boop boop, done, and I'm gonna be in a fucking dryer. It's gonna be the dryer's gonna be on. They're gonna open up. It's gonna be me falling out. Then Dre. Now Dre has a very good chance of surviving. Okay, Dre's gonna get a call. Hello, Dre. Yo, the fuck is? I'm gonna kill you, Dre. Yo, I dare you. I'm gonna stab you in your fucking head. I'm gonna knock you the fuck out, yo, for real. Dre's not gonna take no shit on the call. What's your favorite scary movie, Dre? Yo, when I see him, I'll knock your fucking teeth out for real right now. I think, and then also like, so Ghostface is going to break into Dre's house and do what? Because there's like 50 people there. Like Ghostface has no chance in that house. Like everybody's going to just jump him. Like there's always people in there. So the only time Dre is going to have maybe a chance of getting killed is if he walks down the stairs to go to the store, or if he's outside the store. So I feel like Dre could definitely survive. I think Dre might. I'm going to say Dre survives. I'm going to say Dre fights Ghostface off. Ghostface is not a supernatural being. Dre could fight. Dre was a wrestler. I think Dre survives. He's going to go get a chicken chili cheese. Ghostface is going to be waiting in the staircase, and Dre's going to fuck him up. And he's going to take off the hood and the mask, and it's going to be Mo. There you go. That's who I got. Justin, is Squeam the best horror franchise of all time?
I mean, to me, I would say it's my favorite. I would say yes. It doesn't have a bad movie. To me, it makes a shit ton of money, like a costume. I think it is.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say that it is the most consistent horror series of all.
Yeah.
They always spice it up. They always change and add an element. They add new people, but they keep the consistency of the story. They don't deviate from that story. They don't add shit to that story that makes it whack. It never really disintegrates until probably, again, Scream 5. Not that Scream 5 was horrible. I don't want to make it sound like that. It's just not up to par with the other ones. So, but before Scream 5, they were all absolute bangers to me. They keep it consistent with the writing is always great, even when they have different writers. The violence is always good. They don't do what a lot of other horror franchises do. They change the look of the villain. Jason changes. Freddy kind of has a little change. Not really. It's not that bad in New Nightmare. They actually do a good job of changing and making him scarier. Other than that, Chucky changes. Doesn't look too good. Especially the CGI Chucky. Looks like shit. Michael Myers, Scream 5, the worst mask you've ever seen in your life. They keep it very consistent throughout the series, and it's great. I rarely have something negative to say about Scream. I can watch any one of the movies and be entertained. Even Scream 5, I'm going to be entertained. It is the best horror series of all time. I love Michael Myers, but when you look at Halloween versus Scream, there's a lot of stuff that happens. There's different universes in Halloween. They deviate from a lot of things. They add different stories. They go to the Thorn curse and this and that. It's just too much. Michael Myers doesn't always look the best.
Yeah.
There's always different directors, different writers. It doesn't keep the same tone. Scream is always funny, scary, dark, fresh. It's great.
Yeah.
5-star series, the best. Forgot about this question. I should have asked this before that. Who's a bigger badass? Sidney Prescott or Laurie Strode?
I love them both, but I think I'm going to have to go the Laurie.
What?
Yeah.
Laurie Strode.
Yeah. Because Ghostface is human. Michael Myers is a fucking supernatural being. And she goes head at him.
I would like to say this. You're wrong. Because, yeah, okay, sure, Michael Myers is a supernatural being. But Sidney, again with consistency, is a badass throughout the entire series. And she's always running into danger, and she's always like outsmarting Ghostface and beating his ass. Laurie is not. Laurie would never, Sidney would never turn her back on Ghostface and lounge around like she did in Halloween 1. Laurie knocked out Michael, twice? And stayed there like a moron? Yeah, twice. Remember, she stabbed him by the couch, and she just lounged on the couch. Instead of getting up, no. Instead of getting up, getting the kids out of there, and doing her thing. Then she knocks him out by the fucking closet or whatever, and she leans on the door like she has all the time in the world. So she's not a badass in that movie. Nothing about her is a badass in that movie. Number 2, what does she do? She shoots him in the face? Once? Throughout the whole movie?
Yeah.
And then she's not there till H2O. H2O, she's afraid the whole fucking movie until the end when she chops head off. So she's not a badass in the first. She's not really a badass in the first incarnation. She's like only a badass in the last 20 minutes of the second incarnation. And then she's only a badass for real in this last series. That's when she's a legit fucking badass. When she knows how to fight, she got the guns, she's for real. Like this Laurie Strode that we got now against Sidney, she might fuck Sidney up. Probably. I don't know. But Sidney's consistently smacking Ghostface around, running into danger, outsmarting him. Sidney's a bigger badass. You're wildin'.
I don't know. I think in the latest, like you said, the latest Laurie, that's the biggest badass.
I'm just gonna say that, yeah, I don't know if she's a bigger badass. I think they can go toe to toe. I don't know who would win. Sidney got like a little. She's younger than her, so maybe she could take her. I don't know. All I know is that Sidney is consistently a badass. She is always doing her thing. So that's why I'm going with Sidney Prescott. I'm surprised. I thought you were gonna say Sidney too.
Nah.
All right, Justin. Quick question that is definitely not on the thing because I wanted to just throw this at you as a surprise. Surprise. Who you banging, Billy or Stu? You said you like Stu, so which one you banging?
I'm not answering that
Why not?
because I'm not banging it. None of them.
Well, I would go with Stu because Billy's creepy. I don't want to bang creepy guy.
Well, I'm not banging any of them.
I think you'd bang Stu. You would bang Stu. You know you'd bang Stu.
Let's end this right now.
You'd bang Stu. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So, sum up your experience watching all these Scream movies again. How'd you like it? Was this what you expected?
I definitely enjoyed going back and rewatching them because when they first came out, I was a kid and I didn't really understand the
Plot?
the movies. But so I like going back and rewatching them. It was good.
I share the same sentiment. Like I said, there were some surprises for me, especially with Scream 3. I thought the same stuff for you with Scream 2 a little bit. Like I liked it a little less than I remembered. And I had a great time going back and watching them. I haven't seen a lot of these movies in years, even though I did say it was the best horror franchise. I just haven't made time to watch them in a long time. And I was honestly like, wow, I should have been. Like these are top-notch movies. These are amazing. I don't know where it's going to go from here. Scream 6 is probably not going to be that great. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I think they should stop. That's number one. I think they need to stop after Scream 6. Like, love it, but let's end it on a high note. Like, Scream 3 was the perfect high note to end it on. Scream 4 was great. Now you're pushing it. But it was a great time. A lot of fun. So you let us know what you think about the Squeam series. You can find me at It's Gritty Bitch on Instagram. You can also go to the Gritty World YouTube channel where you can see my vlogs and all the other stupid stuff that I like to do. You can go to the Gritty Knows Best Instagram to see what we do on there. You can also go to the Gritty Knows Best YouTube where this video episode will be up. We usually upload the video episodes on Friday. And Justin, you take it away.
Follow me on Twitter at RealJasonBiggest, Instagram and TikTok at RealJasonBiggest93, my YouTube, Justin Simbiggest, second channel, Sims Gaming.
And there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace and love. See you next time, Sydney, I meant to say. Excuse me. See you next time, Sydney.